Wake up to Montego Bay, Jamaica, a paradise where palm trees sway and tourists dance after a taste of rum punch. Welcome to this Caribbean gem, where sunsets and beaches rival the vibrancy of the island's unique culture. This bay has more than just white sand and azure waters. It's in a rich history that anchors in the deep blue sea. No need for alarms here. We're basking in the Caribbean sun. You know what they say, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, even more so when you're about to explore Montego Bay. If you're a breakfast aficionado, Montego Bay has a champion's feast waiting for you. Picture this, you're sitting in a cozy local cafe, the aroma of Blue Mountain coffee wafting through the air. It's a brew so smooth it could charm a hummingbird out of its flight. Now let's talk about the main event, ackee and saltfish. A dish that's as vibrant as the Jamaican sunrise. It's a dance of flavors, where the sautéed saltfish waltzes with the buttery ackee. And the dance floor? A delicious piece of bammy, a traditional Jamaican flatbread. These unique Caribbean flavors are more than just a meal. They're a cultural experience, a taste of Jamaica's heart and soul on a plate. With a belly full of local goodies, it's time to hit the streets of Montego Bay. Who needs a gym when you have an entire city to explore? Montego Bay isn't just about sandy beaches and tropical drinks. It's also steeped in history, and we're about to dive headfirst into it. Don't worry, no history tests at the end. Let's start with the Rose Hall Great House, a Georgian mansion with a backstory that's got more twists than a Hollywood thriller. Rumor has it, a wicked witch named Annie Palmer once ruled here, dishing out cruelties to her slaves and occasionally her husbands. Yes, you heard that right, husbands. Plural. 3 of them, all meeting untimely ends. Now who's to say if it's true or not? But it's certainly more exciting than your average haunted house story, isn't it? Then there's the Greenwood Great House. Less spooky, but just as intriguing. This place is like a time capsule, filled with antique furniture, rare books, and musical instruments from the 18th century. Imagine, the original owners were relatives of the famous poet Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Literature buffs, eat your hearts out. Did you know that the Greenwood Great House survived one of the biggest slave uprisings in history, the Christmas Rebellion of 1831? It's like a real-life action movie set. But don't worry, the only rebellion you'll witness here today is the occasional tour guide going rogue with a cheeky joke or two. And let's not forget the Sam Sharp Square, named after a national hero and leader of the aforementioned rebellion. It's a bustling place, full of life, color, and the occasional pigeon. You can almost hear the echoes of the past amongst the modern hustle and bustle. But hey, history isn't all about old buildings and dusty books. It's about stories, people, and how they've shaped the world we live in today. And Montego Bay, well, it's got stories to tell. From the grandeur of plantation houses to the courage of freedom fighters, this city wears its history with pride. After all that history, you're probably yearning for a change of pace. Luckily, Montego Bay's got you covered. Remember those sandy beaches we mentioned earlier? It's time to trade your history hat for a snorkel, or a surfboard, or a beach towel. You get the idea. Montego Bay is a playground for all types of sun worshippers. The beaches here aren't just for lounging around and soaking up the sun, though that is a perfectly acceptable way to spend your day. But if you're feeling a bit more adventurous, there's a whole host of activities to keep you entertained. Take Doctor's Cave Beach, for instance. This isn't your everyday beach. It's a beach with a medical degree. Well, not really, but the name does come from a story about a doctor who claimed the waters had healing properties. Whether you believe it or not, one thing is certain. A day spent here will leave you feeling rejuvenated. If you're into snorkeling, the crystal clear waters are teeming with vibrant marine life, making it a snorkeler's paradise. Or if you prefer to stay on top of the water, grab a paddleboard and glide across the surface. It's a fantastic workout, and let's face it, it's also a great way to show off to the folks back home. Now, if you're more of a landlubber, there's still plenty to do. You could always join in on a beach volleyball game, or maybe you'd prefer to just watch from the sidelines, sipping on a fresh coconut, while the over-enthusiastic tourists dive and tumble in the sand. No judgment here. And then there's Walter Fletcher Beach, with its aqua park, banana boat rides, and even go-kart racing. Yes, you heard that right. Go-kart racing on the beach, because why not? It's all part of the fun in the sun in Montego Bay. And as the sun begins to set, it's time to trade the beach for the bustling streets of Montego Bay's hip strip. So, slather on some more sunscreen and get ready for the next chapter of your Montego Bay adventure. As the sun sets, the hip strip comes alive. And no, it's not a strip of hipsters, but it's just as cool. The hip strip, or as the locals call it, Gloucester Avenue, is the nightlife heart of Montego Bay. It's a veritable carnival of lights, sounds, and exciting experiences that never fails to captivate its visitors. And let's just clarify, there is no dress code here. You won't be turned away for not wearing skinny jeans or a beanie in the tropical heat. Picture a pulsating artery of energy, a kaleidoscope of vibrant colors that dance along the street. The air is filled with the enticing aroma of food stalls, the rhythmic beats of reggae music, and the infectious laughter of both locals and tourists alike. It's as if the entire street has decided to throw a party, and everyone's invited. Now, imagine this: a stroll down the strip, serenaded by the melodies of street musicians, as you're drawn in by the eclectic mix of shops selling everything from local crafts to high-end fashion. The hip strip is a shopaholic's dream, a wonderland where your wallet might feel a tad lighter, but your suitcase will definitely be bursting at its seams. And remember, bargaining is not only accepted here, it's practically a sport. But what's a night out without some mouth-watering food? The hip strip is a veritable smorgasbord of culinary delights. From jerk chicken that will set your taste buds on fire, to fresh seafood that practically swims onto your plate, there's a flavor for every palate. And for the dessert lovers, the ice cream here is so creamy, it could probably bring world peace. Of course, no night on the hip strip would be complete without a little dancing. From reggae clubs that will have you swaying to the beat, to swanky lounges where you can sip on a cocktail and watch the world whirl by, there's a groove for every mover and shaker. And as the night comes to an end, there's only one thing left to do. We've tasted, toured, and tanned our way through Montego Bay. But wait, there's one more thing you need to do. You've come along for the ride as we sampled mouth-watering breakfasts, delved deep into history, and soaked up the sun in this Jamaican paradise. Now we want to hear from you. Which part of our journey resonated with you the most? Did the sun-kissed beaches tickle your fancy? Or were you more intrigued by the rich tapestry of history that we unraveled? Perhaps you've been lucky enough to experience the magic of Montego Bay firsthand. If that's the case, we're eager to hear your stories. What were your favorite spots? What hidden gems did you discover on your adventure? Join our community of travel enthusiasts. Engage in the conversation, share your thoughts, your experiences, your recommendations. Bring your stories to life and inspire fellow wanderers. So go ahead, hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting adventures. Until next time, keep exploring.